Hey, what's up, everybody? How you doing?
Good, man. You?
Good. Yeah, we've been sitting here bullshitting for 16 and a half minutes without this thing being turned on. So, I mean, we knew it, but we just sort of got carried away with ourselves. So, happy to be here today.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. So, Jeff, it's been a week. We took some time off again. Jeff's schedule didn't permit it. Jeff got a new child, so to speak.
Yeah, four-legged child.
A four-legged beast in the house, man. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, tell us about it, man.
So we got a German Shepherd named Roman. He is 12 weeks and some days old, full of energy at times and stuff like that, but phenomenal. Got him from a good breeder that only breeds dogs when she has people who need them to be trained for services of diabetics, disabilities. Right. She has trained like service dogs, police dog, military, with her background in being a federal agent. Yeah. Stuff like that.
So how'd you guys get lucky enough to get hooked up with her? Somebody that doesn't deal with the public.
Somebody was supposed to get him, and something fell through with them, changed the schedule, right? Finances, who knows? Don't really know the inner workings.
Right.
It was almost 2 weeks ago. It was on a Friday. We were originally supposed to get another dog from a different breeder. That just fell through. Yeah. We were supposed to get one of the males. 3 males were born. One didn't make it. We were 3 on the list. Had another dog that was supposed to be pregnant. Turns out she wasn't pregnant. Oh, man. It's a little fiasco. So that one Friday, we got all this news. My wife just starts searching, and behold, finds this lady. Has to fill out like a 20-plus resume question thing. Yeah. No phone number, so there's no way to get a hold. So this lady reads it later that afternoon. Lady calls Kelly, my wife, and talks to her. And it's like, I really like the sound of who you are, what you're about. I like your family. I like how you talked about yourselves, your lifestyle. Right. And so still a chance, though, because we had to drive to basically town, kind of maybe 40 minutes outside Terre Haute, Indiana. Okay. And so she's like, there's still no guarantee that you could come, that if I don't feel there's a good connection, you may not go home with the dog. Well, we went. We were there for 3 hours doing training, getting to know them, how she got into this. She's very more holistic with dogs and how you feed them, stuff you use for them and stuff like that. Right. Came home with a binder for this dude to keep going on everything. But he's pretty well trained, can sit, stay, go down. He can do calls, whether he sees you or if you go do a blind call where he can't. Right. Doing pretty good. He's still a puppy, but phenomenal. Can't complain, too much. Occasional sleep. Still get him up to take him out, just so I don't want to clean a cage out. Yeah, and totally. Stuff like that in the morning. But no, it's fun because we've wanted one, but our daughter Reese has been wanting a dog since probably she could speak. Yeah, and so she's getting used to the fact too, and likes it. Likes to come home and see him and play with him and stuff like that. So
that's rad, man. Yeah, we just fenced in our backyard for our dogs, so I know what you mean with the pups, dude. They become part of the family, and man, it's unreal how they become like kids. Yeah, they've got their own personalities, and I mean, sometimes I swear I don't even have to utter a sound, and the dog knows what I'm thinking, and comes by my side.
Trying to get them into the non-chewing training, the old school way of a spray bottle. Yeah, yeah. Like you just grab it now, and he's just like,
so if he gets used to that, there's another one. You put a couple of pennies. Just a couple, like 2 or 3 pennies in an aluminum can, and don't let them see it.
Just shake it.
But just shake that son of a bitch whenever they do something they're not supposed to. Man, everybody in the house will hate you after about 2 days.
Well, I'm sure.
But it really does work. After the while, a dog's like, man, I don't want to hear that anymore.
You don't really have to spray him much because now he sees it and he's like,
gotcha. That's good.
Today he did good with me this morning out in the garage. Hooked him to the sled.
Oh, nice.
I hooked him to the 70-pound kettlebell the other day. He managed to turn it over, but he didn't move it. Yeah. He's only 32 pounds. In time, he will drag that. But I hooked him to my sled, and I was like, okay. And I wasn't doing any dropping of weights. I'm like, this is perfect. Yeah. He can watch me warm up, do my normal routine, all this kind of stuff. I had shoulder press and some sit-ups, kettlebell swings, and lunges. On the sit-ups, he was close enough to me that he can get in me. So every time I sit up, just pet him.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, this is the best thing ever. And I'm swinging the kettlebell, and he's sitting there going, nice. What's this? Yeah. So he did good. He didn't really bark. It wasn't until about the tail end trying to do a little cool down. I was like, all right, let's go for a walk. And he didn't want to have that either. Like I said, we barely made it to the end of the block, and he's like, plop. Yeah. But trying to get him used to everything we do. You know, I want him to be active, run with me or run with Reese or Kelly or whatever. Not, you know.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's one thing that we always felt bad about with our dogs is, you know, they might get walked, but they're not. We want them to be able to have free reign within, you know, the perimeter there. And so we finally did it, and, you know, they go at it for 45 seconds and they're like, holy shit, what's happening? So it's, they were pretty lazy living the high life for a while.
So yeah, we tire him out because we try to make sure that he sleeps because his owners were on night shifts. So he was backwards, so we had to flip-flop that.
Yeah. So is he starting to climb into your circadian rhythm?
He's pretty good. Like, we put him down before we go to bed in his crate,
and
he's pretty much out.
That's awesome.
Yeah. He's still a pup. We understand he's a baby, basically.
Traditional German Shepherd?
Yep.
Yeah.
His dad's full-blown from Germany.
Yeah.
The owner, who's from Michigan, went over to Germany, wherever. Yeah. And dad's a show dog, won a lot of stuff, and then the owner of that dog was former military, used to train canines and stuff like that.
Right.
So him and his mom, good bloodline. We're not going to put him in a show. That's not our style.
Totally.
Wanted a good dog and just found someone that by chance was training someone to make a service dog, and she sends us videos how to continue his training if we wanted to train him to be one of those. But our family has no need for a dog that can sense if you're low in your blood sugar, and we don't need a service dog for other reasons and stuff like that.
Sure.
You know,
yeah.
People are like, well, why don't you do it anyway? We could, but not going to
There's
defy the rules and put a vest on them and walk them into, you know,
there's
the
something
grocery store.
That's just as special and important as a family to have a family dog, I think, than it is for someone in need to have a service dog.
Yeah.
The family dog is different. There's a different connection. There's a different kind of relationship there. I've got one of each.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, there is a bond between my service dog and I. When I'm down.
Yeah.
Not if, when I'm down, that dog will always come to my side.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the other dog has picked up and learned that behavior, but only because he's a really bright dog and he's always paying attention.
Your dogs are very well behaved and
right.
You know, they're good with commands. Obviously, any animal is going to have its moments, but your animals are very well trained.
Yeah, and having lost a canine before, not a service canine, but a family dog, to a traumatic accident, I don't know that these dogs can live long enough. Mm-hmm. You know, and it's like I said, I'll go back to it. It's no different than your damn kids. You just, you know, you form that connection with them, and whether it's going for a run or whether it's, you know, hey, I need you, you need me. Like we need to lean on each other, and you know, I might shed a tear when nobody else is around, but you know, and
like today I was doing some stuff, and he came and sat by my feet at the island, and just like I had literally had my feet in the ground. I was like, okay, like, can I get my feet back? And then I moved my feet back a little, and he just rearranged himself.
Yeah,
like I think he's learning. With, you know, I think him and my wife already have a special bond because she's been taking care of him during the day more so because I'm not there, and stuff like that. But I think he's bonding with each one of us. Like a certain call my daughter can do, he goes nuts and comes to her.
Right.
You know, we can replicate it, but then it's just like the excitement's not the same.
Yeah, he knows.
Yeah, but he's kind of learning and stuff like that. So it's like he'll have his unique bond with each of us, and we'll have, because you can kind of see it unfolding. Like when someone comes home, I'm like, hey, someone's home. Someone's home.
Yeah.
Huh? Oh, and then pops over, you know.
Yeah, they'll start doing the same. He'll start doing the same thing. Like my dogs, they first notice the car coming in down the road into the driveway. Then they know that, okay, so there's a car. Then if the garage door noise starts, now we know it's mom or it's dad. And then they're at the mud room or whatever, coming out of the kitchen into the garage. Then they're there waiting for us. And it's no different no matter who comes over. It's, you know, they know exactly which car makes which sound. It's
I'm sure he'll learn that in time, because the other day coming home from work, he was in his crate. My wife and daughter were gone, and I was like, oh, I can hear him. And then came in the house, and he was like, ooh, get me out. I want to see you. Hey.
Yeah, freaking out.
You know, and then get down and, you know, give him command to, you know, down to lay down, and he's like, let me go. I was like, let's go outside, buddy, come on, you know. And then immediately take him out and walk around and goof around, but he's still a puppy, and he's like, oh, I'm done.
Yeah.
He didn't like the warm days last week.
Oh no, it's that shepherd you're gonna find a lot like my lab, Cade, my service dog. Their coats are pretty thick.
Oh yeah.
You know, they get pretty warm. They're meant to help cool them.
Yeah.
And you can't go and shave them; it'll mess them up. From what I understand, the shepherds are the same. Yeah, they're miserable when it's hot, man.
Yeah, but the other day sitting out because he's mostly black fur. He's got some tan and white in him, and that could change as he gets older. But it's like, dude, sitting and just walking on, like touching him, like, oh God, you're warm. I'm like,
yeah.
Me and you are going to be best friends when it's cold.
Right, exactly, man. Totally be
but
best buddies.
He loved it today in the garage. It was so cool. He laid on the concrete, and put a towel down, and then he laid on the sled for the last 20 minutes of my workout.
It was probably cold.
Well, it's metal.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a simple little pull sled, not the full push pull.
Right.
I'm like, that can't be comfortable with that rod down the middle. Whatever, dude.
Yeah, I know the one. Yeah.
But I just needed to hook him to something. I kept him close where I could pop over.
Yeah.
He was out of the way if I did have to drop the bar. But I'll slowly expose him to hearing the noise. He's heard it in the house.
Yeah.
Doesn't bat an eye.
That's good.
He just kind of pops up. Kelly was saying he wasn't barking, so I'll eventually bring him out.
That's good.
I figured the clock going beep, 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 boop would get him. No. Played music. So he hears me talking. He hears randomness. And he saw the neighbor dogs walking, people walking. So, yeah. He's doing good.
That's rad, man. That's good to hear. Well, congratulations again.
Yeah. It's
awesome.
It's truly another kid, so it's
have
awesome.
To bring Roman over one day and have a play date.
Yeah.
Let him
Everyone's
run
like,
around
you
the
gotta bring him
backyard.
over. I'm like, yeah, you got that another vaccination coming up, and then he can mingle with other dogs.
Oh, good. Doesn't have to wear the doggy mask.
It's so, I don't know. Every vet's different that, you should do this vaccination. You should wait till this time frame, or you should do, it's like, don't know who to believe. This is all new to us. So we're like, we'll just go the full distance of what majority have said.
Yeah, like being a parent.
Yeah.
So go with the flow.
That month of July, he's not even met the neighbor dogs. I just sit in the yard and go, I was like, yeah, we'll let you go.
Yeah.
And meet, the other dogs. So at the end of the month, once you get your third, whatever shot's supposed to be coming up next week, whenever it is, let you mingle.
Rad, man.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Very cool. Can't wait to meet him.
He's a goofy ball of energy.
Nice. Hell yeah. Right on, man. Well, let's transition from dogs into what we want to talk about today.
Yeah.
I mean, I like talking about dogs, but
yeah, I'm sure a lot of people do.
Yeah. So, I have a dog that's been a big part of my recovery.
Yeah.
And so, having said that, Jeff brings a good subject today in recovery. And I think that word probably means something different to a lot of us.
Yeah.
But it's something that we wanted to spend a little bit of time on here and discuss, when you can't always just be in that mode of perpetually trying to recover, right? There's got to be a certain point where you plateau yourself and you say, man, I'm at a good spot.
Yeah.
But, what's that look like? What's that feel like for you? What's recovery to you, Jeff?
So before we kind of got on, I told Jeremy, and I heard this through a podcast, recovery is for everyone. Now, when most hear recovery, you think, oh, I'm recovering from injury. Or you might think, oh, you're in recovery. Maybe you're an addict to something. We're all recovering addicts in a sense of the form from something.
Yeah.
So recovery to me is like you're always recovering, trying to better the old self, or things that you suffer from. I can say things that I can be in recovery for is I got a short fuse. Like I'm pretty good for most times, but certain things cut right through and everything can go out the window and I'm on, I'm at 100, 0 to 100, just boom. Versus like other people, it might be a substance type thing. But I think that when you use recovery, think of it in terms of what are things that I'm recovering from or trying to get better on. So when I say anger issues, or like things that can get me heated, I'm recovering on trying to not allow that to continue to happen. And it does happen, and it will. No different than people relapse with other things. But look at recovery as what are some things that I need to work upon myself to improve myself, and that is a part of your recovery journey. No different than AA has, 12 steps?
Yeah.
You're on whatever step, no different than a problem you're suffering on. you might be boom all through 12 steps, and then you go back and you're all the way back at 0.
Yeah.
Or maybe you're really stuck at step 6 of whatever you are in your position for a long, long period of time. So I look at it as recovery is just things that we need to do to better ourselves, or maybe some trauma or something personally that we need to fix in ourselves, maybe not necessarily that others see, but it's an interpersonal recovery aspect of just thyself.
Yeah, I would like to add to that a little bit. I think that recovery is, like I said, it's different for everyone. Obviously, whether it's your traumas or whatever it is that you feel that you need to escape from or climb out of or recover from. Recovery is something that you may not recognize that you're recovering. Recovery is a journey. Recovery is, if you imagine as you live, you have ups and downs. Well, when you have downs and you climb right back into the ups, you didn't take any time necessarily to learn from your downs. So maybe you don't take as much with you on your next journey. And then when you go back down, you didn't learn anything last time. So maybe you don't know what to do again.
Yeah.
When if you would have paid closer attention to the recovery or to the journey itself instead of the end goal, you would realize, holy shit, I'm recovering. I'm getting better because I practice. I'm getting better because I notice that I'm getting better, right? There's parts to this that we are completely remiss to as people on a daily basis that are vital. And it's that recognition that I'm doing something.
Mm-hmm.
And for shit's sake, it's hard, but I'm doing it. And as you recover, those around you notice, holy shit, Jeremy or Jeff's they're different.
Mm-hmm.
And that triggers the recovery process in other people around you. And before you know it, you're like little viruses, but fantastic little viruses, and it's catching on. Recovery is knowing that you have something to build on.
Yeah.
If you don't have to recover from anything, you're telling me that you've never experienced grief or trauma, or maybe you have dealt with it.
You basically would say that you're a perfect specimen of a human.
Absolutely, and we all know that that's not possible. No. We all have things. We may hide.
Yeah,
we all have defense mechanisms and our own little safety nets that we cast out before we speak, before we become vulnerable, before anything. And we damn sure cannot enter that recovery phase until we know that there's something to be recovered from and admit to ourselves and possibly others around us that it's okay.
Yeah.
It's totally fucking okay to be batshit crazy. It's okay to be pissed off. It's okay to not feel loved. It's okay to feel like everybody hates you, because they're all feelings that you have to go through to learn about yourself and to be okay for other people, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, totally, man.
No, it's exactly that. It's those small things of you noticing what can be improved upon, or what are some downfalls in myself that need to be changed for the betterment of myself and probably others. But it's that positive virus that'll jump ship to the next person going, man, he's really taking the time to work on himself or herself and do these things.
It's a noble thing to look at yourself in the mirror and I'm going to say pick yourself apart, but in a very constructive manner. I mean constructive criticism for yourself.
Yeah.
It's introspection 101, if you will. But with that introspection has to come a lot of honesty.
Oh, and that's a hard thing to face the truth, as Michael Jackson said, man in the mirror. That's the hardest truth that you'll have to face, I believe, in life, is being honest with yourself when you look at yourself. Like, we're all imperfect. There's things that we can improve upon, in vast majority of our lives, but it's coming to that reality with yourself to find those little things of, okay, I do have maybe a little short fuse, need to work on that anger aspect, or need to spend more time doing this or improving myself here, or I need to do less of that. Like, that is no different than someone going through steps of, recovery with a substance.
Yeah.
There's just no 12 steps or 15 or whatever. There's just no step-out process for those other types of things.
Yeah.
And that's where finding side little things to do or making note of that, as you're saying, paying attention along the journey of, oh, that triggers this.
Yes.
Okay, I need to take a moment when something similar comes again, back to face me. Take a moment, a little time versus just snapping or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
It's pay attention to those small key details, which is exactly, I'm going to go back to AA. I'm not a recovering alcoholic.
Well, that's a good example.
But we've heard enough, and it's probably one of the most well-known recovery programs out there. But when you make amends with people, like, you're going through the steps and processes of the people you hurt. I believe there's one in there that you're trying to forgive yourself, because obviously along the way you've done things to yourself that you shouldn't have done because you had this problem. It's no different than with anything else. It's those similar steps can be just slightly changed to any kind of problem that you face.
Yeah.
It really can, which
absolutely
glorious program, because obviously it's helped millions of people.
Yeah, totally, man. Thank God it's there.
No.
I think that it probably lends itself a lot to living 101. I think it probably speaks to being a good person and forgiving yourself, but not shorting yourself. You can't be afraid to make mistakes because you're scared of going through the recovery process. That starts to build up an armor around us that does not allow for anything to get through, either in or out.
Yeah.
So you become useless in relationships. If you can't recover or admit that you have to recover from things or ask for help, or how do you know what to do for other people?
Yeah. If you just become so dull and numb.
Yeah.
I kind of put it in as, might be a little harsh, but like, are you really living in a sense? Because you're not experiencing the normal emotions that other humans or living creatures experience.
Yeah, man.
That if you're just there, like, people are like, oh, you're like a tree. Or like, well, tree's living. It feels, it moves.
Right.
Regardless of the wind, it does move. Like, you're just some inanimate object that's there.
Yeah.
You take in, you might not show no emotion. It'd be like, I'm not going to blink. I'm just going to stand here.
Yeah.
Like, when there's no emotion shown, I think then that goes back into, well, why am I not showing emotion? Why is there so many walls in front of me that does not allow this to sink in or go through or not have that reaction that another human might, you know?
Totally, man. Yeah, it's a very it's a neat thought, I think, to be sort of your own tree in a forest and be okay with knowing that you may never be seen. You may never be heard. And okay, so what does that mean? Does that mean that you have to that you now have to, I don't know, protect yourself as if something might see you or as if something might happen to you? No, that tree is still just a tree, and it doesn't care what other people are doing or thinking. It's going to be the best tree it can. And I know that sounds a little wacky, but on the road to recovery, you can't care about anything other than, I might be 5 minutes late to this meeting, but I am not going to drive like a fucking asshole, because that is not being the best me I can be. I should have fucking left 5 minutes earlier.
I think you said it perfectly in that road to recovery. You should not be the tree. We'll go back to, because that's what we're talking about. You shouldn't be the tree that is the most seen or most heard.
Right.
Because if you are, you're doing things trying to be known and seen versus doing the things that would help you.
Yeah, leading by example, even.
Being loudmouth, rude, obnoxious, or things that give more attention to you is probably not you really focusing on you to, bettering yourself through the recovery aspect of it.
Yeah, man. Fly on the wall. That's like, whenever I went through my basic military training, I'll never forget when we graduated. I received a couple honors or awards that were only given out to one part of the squadron, and I was very, very proud. And somebody asked me, they're like, dude, how did you keep your shit together you know, when everybody else was going crazy. And I said, I just wanted to become like the furniture, man. I just wanted them to have no fucking reason to look at me. I'm just there. They know I'm there.
Yeah.
They utilize me, but there is no burr on me. There's no fucking nothing out of line. There's no nail that needs to be trimmed. Nothing. I'm not going to make this shit any fucking harder than what it already is. And that really helped me. That also meant that I got to sit back and watch other people that thought that they were leaders lead by yelling or getting angry or being ignorant. And I got to learn, not that I repeated the truths or the way that it should be, but I at least got a baseline of, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
You know, maybe I'm going to fuck up and I'm going to be that whenever I get to become a young NCO or a seasoned airman or whatever, you know, a private first class or whatever you might be. You're going to repeat those steps just because you're young and dumb. But on your road to recovery as a good NCO or whatever, a good human, a good member of the AA community or whatever you are, I guess you have to remember every once in a while, you've got to go back to that center or that, what was your intent?
Yeah.
I want to be good. I don't want to do those things. And it's cyclical. Right? Would you agree that in our road to recovery, we fall out of line?
Well, yeah.
You have a drink, you have a smoke, you don't exercise, you eat another bag of fucking chips, you do whatever.
That's no different than the seasons of the world.
Yeah, but you notice it.
Yeah, everything like, you know, with Earth in the universe, they say so forth, so many thousands, 10,000s or million years, another thing's going to happen.
Yeah.
It happens. It just depends on how big is the gap in cycles.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what they do. All those scientists do all this data and all this testing to figure out roughly when the next thing will be. Unfortunately, with life, you can't sit here and pinpoint when's the next break or that next repetition going to happen in this cycle.
Yeah.
But as you were saying before, as we're more aware in that journey, you're coming around and it's getting close to another time, you start to see things. So maybe the next time it's not as bad, you know, it's not as advanced as it was the previous one. You're like, okay, I got angry or I had that drink again, but I had 2 instead of the bottle or, you know, a case.
And it's important to also point out that maybe not only you drank less or you did less of whatever this thing is that you're trying to rid yourself of, this demon, but the gaps in between when you did it got further apart.
Yeah.
I would guarantee it. So you hadn't drank in 3 months. You have a drink. Shit. All right. Well, you know what? It's damn sure going to be 6 months before I screw up again.
Yeah.
And you make damn sure of it. And you set an intent. You don't just laissez-faire fall into breaking a habit. It's not what you do. In order to break habits, you have to become very uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable. And if you want to become a better person, whether it's selfishly for you or because you want to be a better person at work or a better dad or a better wife or a better kid, whatever, you have to have intent. You can't just fall into it and go, I guess I'll eventually get better at this.
Yeah.
No, horse shit. You will not get better at that. You will keep doing the same shit. You know why? Because it's fucking easy.
Yeah.
And we are creatures of habit, and we like things to be easy and comfortable. Yeah. Just look at us all.
You like the paved road.
Man, don't we? You know, and I can't say I don't. I'm guilty of it too.
Oh, we all have moments of that versus, you know, taking that hard right and veering off into, you know, the thick brush and having to, you know, chop our way through.
Well, you know, for that, hey, I'm going to take that and hang on it for a minute. Speaking of going through the brush, taking the fucking hard way, you know, it's no secret. A few years ago, I went to the hospital. I had a bit of a breakdown, came out with a diagnosis of bipolar, had some sort of a psychotic episode. I needed to recover from something. I was working more than I probably should. I had habits that were out of control. I was trying to grow a business. I was doing all these things that were spiraling to a level that I could not maintain.
Yeah.
But when you're in the thick of it, you know, God bless those of you that have done it. It's hard to recognize. So anyway, that started my real road to recovery. My recovery of, okay, I'm not going to chew everything up in my path trying to get to a goal. Because why?
Yeah.
Because money? No, not really. Because notoriety? Nah, that shit makes me feel a little weird. So, what is it for? And it was obsession. It was just something that I wasn't able to make myself feel well. So I needed things or events or people, distractions to do it for me, which I'm finally learning to do. So, I digress a bit. So I get on medications and things don't ever really get easier.
Mm-hmm.
I start to get better because I find things like meditation. I find things like long walks by myself and all those things. And then I find, my relationship with my mother improves and we start to have long talks and my childhood all of a sudden is a little more manageable and, decisions that were made became much less like knives and more like necessity for somebody to survive. And so I start getting a different perspective and I start realizing that I haven't had a lot of gratitude. I'm thankful for things, but I mean like that moment you wake up where you're like, holy shit, this is going to be it. Like I'm going to set today on fire for some reason. Somehow you're going to write something beautiful. You're going to sing something. You're going to look at somebody a certain way, whatever it may be. And I finally started feeling more of that. And as I started feeling like I was in more control, I could see myself becoming more out of control. My moods were shifting hourly, up and down and up and down. And every time we adjusted a medication, it just made it worse and worse. And then finally we decided, okay, let's see what Jeremy's like just at baseline. Let's get back to basics here, people. And so with the help of my doctor and my wife and my family, I am really fucking excited to say that I am completely medication free.
Dude, that's awesome.
As of this week.
Congrats.
I've been tapering over the last year, and you talk about going through the fucking thicket.
Like
I
remember
bush.
you talked about
how
some weeks it was just utter torture.
It was
for that small drop in milligrams.
And after a while, I started to notice patterns, and I would decrease the medication as prescribed. But I would decrease the medication, and I'd be good for 2 days. 3 days, I felt like I was on my ass, and I started to climb out for a couple of days. Then I'm good. Then I drop again, and it started it all over. And there was a time a couple of weeks ago when I said, I know I've only got a couple of weeks left in this medication taper. I got to take a week off. I got to just stick with what it is because every time I do this, it wrecks my head.
Yeah.
And, everything has been improving since the day I started tapering the medication. Whether it's the side effects like shaking and convulsions or lack of sleep or overeating or whatever it might be, everything started to get better. And I realized that I had given up about a year and a half into this whole journey and just really thought like, man, I am just fucked up. But what was really going on was my body was in a constant struggle with medications. Like, okay, now you deal with this. No, you deal with this. And body's like, I don't want to fucking deal with it.
Well, it's got to be
medication.
Hard
you deal with it.
Maybe more mentally you're starting to improve, but physically you're not.
Yeah, you still have
because you're unfortunately the side effects of what these medications do to people.
Right, and
mentally. Cool, we're making leaps and bounds, but physically you're setting me back.
Right. And so this behavior, this constantly getting worse in both how I feel and how my family is perceiving me, how I'm feeling, right? So it's two ways there. How do I feel? How do you think I feel? How am I projecting that I feel? Dude, it was such a wild ride. It was almost like we've talked about where you could be in a character. It's like I knew that I was coming undone at the seams and I could almost watch it unravel, but you're just watching it. It's almost like you couldn't even really stop it because that's just how it was going to be. As the medication started tapering, I could sit back and have these cognitive thoughts and these long drawn out sort of contemplations, and it was without racket. It was without noise in the background. It was without questioning.
That's funny.
So what was the medication doing? It was causing shit to be more erratic.
Yeah. Listening to a podcast with my wife yesterday, a gentleman was talking about, body types. He talked about, like, wouldn't it be better if you weighed this much or this percent, but you don't have these chronic issues, this going on, this going on, this going on, versus being this lower body weight and lower percent. But then he goes into, like, he jumped into sleep, or like how your mind talks to you, like that you shouldn't have this going and this going and this going and this. Maybe because you're not doing the things to work on telling the brain to shut itself up.
Yeah.
What types of techniques are you doing? Meditating? Are you getting ample sun? Are you doing, workouts? Are you doing things that are healthy for you? He talked about little key things of what you can do to kind of tame that inner voice. Oh, you can't go to sleep without having a smoke or having a drink.
Right.
Then you're not fixing the problem.
Yeah.
You're just masking it. And he's talking about that's the problem with most of our society. And you can attest is, oh, that's happening. Take this one on top of these two.
Yeah.
Oh, take these three on top of conjunction with the two before.
Yeah.
And
it's very problematic. And it's, you listen to any podcast or you watch any news episode, you'll see somebody talking about it. It's worldwide. Mm-hmm. It really is. You talk about a pandemic. Over medicating or misdiagnosing and wrongfully medicating, I would say that they're probably responsible for as many, if not more, people than are really, really crazy that go unseen.
Oh yeah,
I think that we're creating a society of people that are so dependent on the things that are making them sick. How do we get out of that? Like, holy fucking shit, man. We are doing things to ourselves that are very detrimental, and we're addicted to it all.
Mm-hmm.
So, dude, and because we, at least here in the U.S., we are a capitalist society, corporations become addicted to that growth. Investors start requiring growth, and it's,
those companies get their hands into other avenues which they should never have. And
that could happen too,
yeah. Driving force of, cool, I wrote you this and this. More money comes back to the next wave.
If we're all addicted to our vices and we keep getting fed our vices, we're like pigs being led to the slaughter, you know? And I hate to be like Mr. Melodramatic, but
you could say that you're kind of in a single file line in the method. It's that same factor. Do you want to be this, so to speak, cattle pig in the line to the end, or there's a small break in this fence? Do you want to be that one that just goes, I'm not following this herd. I'm not going to the slaughterhouse.
That's absolutely it. And that's where your recovery begins.
Because it's so easy just to follow that line.
It is.
And
it's so much easier.
I can admit to it. It's so much easier not to do these things that better ourselves, to meditate, to read, physical activity, eat healthy. It's so much easier not to do those things, or to be a bum and be lazy.
Yeah.
Or to have the poor me moments, which you're entitled to at times. But you don't want to have that 24/7. That's when you got to break off to take that first step into the journey of the unknown of what it could be. It's not meant to be easy. Life, I'm pretty sure for most of us, has not been just a smooth sailing ride.
Oh, no. But, I mean, it's so cliche to say, but, man, you just can't have the sweet without the sour.
Oh, and it's true.
Can't. You'll never know the difference. And so it's so good to be able to look back every once in a while as you crest that plateau that you carve out of the mountain for yourself, because you have to rest. You have to recover. Every once in a while, you're going to get to that point where you're like, all right, it's time to carve a little place here to sit for a few days and relax and just enjoy what I've done.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean like I'm doing nothing. I'm going to be lazy. You're going to reflect, and maybe you're going to write so that you remember this, because there's going to be another time where you're tired and maybe you don't think you have time to carve out another notch in the mountain, or you think you can keep going. You're going to want to go back and read that, or at least if you do, it'll help you remember and sort of trigger that response. That's not fight or flight. That's not falling in line. That's not just sort of behaving in the same manner every day because that's just what you do. stop being reactionary and start thinking ahead and plan for a long, hard road.
Yeah.
Take some shit with you. You're going to need some supplies. Like, this shit is not easy, and it's not to be pretentious or righteous or anything more or anything less, I guess. It is what it is. It's either you want to be in control and really have control over your thoughts and not just control with your actions, like being a controlling person. And unless you really, really just don't give a shit about other people, man, it's such a better way to live.
Oh,
let
absolutely.
go, and all those fucking hungry people that want to go and eat each other, let them go fucking eat each other. You need to work on you.
Yeah.
You got shit to do.
Same thing that guy on the podcast was talking about, sometimes we need to be a little self-greedy and do things for ourselves and put others aside.
Yeah.
Not hopefully in small bits. Sometimes you need to do it for bigger time, but that is the only way to fully get into that recovery path, is doing those small feats or those small little things for yourself and putting others to the side for a small moment, then getting back. Because if you don't, there's no hope in your recovery.
It's performing triage on yourself.
Oh, that's a good way of putting it.
You have to perform triage. You're going to get wounded. You're going to get hurt. You're going to get scrapes and nicks. You're going to sprain your ankle, whatever you want to call it. You got to have a buddy there. You got to have some buddy or some way or some outlet to recover for a little bit, or else you're going to stay in the fight for too long. You're going to run out of ammo. I'm sorry for all the metaphors, but that's what's going to happen. You're just going to fall on your face.
Yeah, you're only going to keep yourself up above the water for so long. Like, how long can you truthfully tread doing this before you just go under?
Yeah.
And then how long are you going to be able to hold your breath would be the next step. The whole aspect is, a simple way. I believe it's, never mind. I don't know. I can't remember, but
I hate it when that happens.
Yeah, I thought I had but when you try and swim, you're not trying to fight the water.
Yeah.
You're trying to pull yourself through. You're using the water in conjunction with you to keep you afloat, keep you moving.
Yeah.
If you fight the water, you will always lose.
Right.
That's where that perfect balance and that harmony comes in with this whole process of recovery. Is at times you're going to fight and you'll start to kind of drown. Other times you will be just flowing, but it's a constant understanding of when is the time to fight, when's the time just to kind of be in that moment and understand and learn what you've done in the past to go, okay, I can't keep fighting.
Yeah.
I will be drowning.
Yeah.
And I need to do this, which will then help keep me afloat.
Yeah.
Keep me going.
Yeah. Yeah. Focus on, on the things that are so important to you. I don't mean the things as in the material objects, but I mean, focus on the things that really put a pep in your step. And if there's nothing putting a pep in your step,
you gotta find it.
You got some searching to do, because it's only up to you. If something's lost that spark in a relationship and you're lingering, that's on you, Holmes. That's on you. Just say something. Break a heart. Do something. You take action. Stop sitting on your hands and just eating food you don't like. Take action. And this is no different. If you want to recover from one stage in your growth and graduate, if you will, into the next, you're going to get hit hard. You're going to get kicked hard, but you're going to learn to do the same. You're not going to learn the same by the sidelines. No. Nobody ever learned karate by watching from the sidelines. Nobody ever got good at jiu-jitsu by watching UFC.
No.
It's not how it works.
No. Experience takes it. You got to take the licks. You got to take the falls, the bumps and the bruises. It's, the adversity and agony that comes with life is also what makes you get through those recoveries, because it kind of builds you up a little bit more tough versus you being this numb and dull human. Yeah. You got thicker skin to absorb more, to fight more, to better yourself more. Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to, again, I hope that it doesn't sound too cliche like what you were just talking about. I feel like I have fought a battle over the past 44 years, really. But the last few to be, at least the last few that I was really aware of that I'm fighting, or that I had something to even fight for. I can finally say with 100% sincerity that I have all of my feelings back. All of my faculties are in order. I can refrain from passing judgment just because a glimmer of something catches my attention, or somebody does something that may have or may have nothing to do with me or the people I love.
Yeah.
It doesn't take my attention. It's much easier for me to follow through on things because I can remember things. It's really wild what it feels like to be completely numb, and I would say over-medicated, and then take the steps that it really takes, not just dumping the bottle down the toilet, because that's not how that shit works. You go crazy.
Yeah.
You'll end up being one of these poor bastards that takes your own life. You got to do the hard work, and, you have some good people in your corner, whether it's a doctor or a parent, a spouse, boyfriend, lover, whatever. You don't have to go through this shit alone, but you're going to feel like you're alone.
I'm sure, yeah.
You're going to feel like you're on a journey that nobody else knows about. You're going to feel like you're the first one that's ever experienced this, and then all of a sudden you're going to go, oh, shit, I'm nothing special. Like, this is what we all do. We all live, we mess up, and then we learn eventually. Now, whether you're 17 or you're 77, you're going to learn.
Yeah.
Eventually, right, Jeff?
Eventually you will, If not, what you need to learn is going to come knocking at you, hit you right in the face.
Yeah, yeah. I was really happy that I got knocked on my ass at 40 years old. And I think we may have talked about this before. I had set this sort of line in the sand, which was a joke because I wasn't taking steps to get there. To say by 40 years old, I'm going to be in the best shape of my life. I was thinking in a physical manner. But now looking back at 44, almost 45, I go, I was. I had gotten hit so fucking hard at 40 years old that I was like, now I get it. Now I understand what it means to be chasing things for happiness. Now I understand what it means to take things for granted. Now I know what it means to not have empathy, because now I feel all of those things rushing in at once. And as that did, it created this yearning for wanting to feel positive and happy more. And that the more glimmers of that you found, or that I found, I was able to sort of build that and like make my own little pile, if you will, of happy memories. Yeah. Which I felt like I didn't have early on in my life. When in reality, like, perception's a son of a bitch. Reality, as a child, it was probably not as bad as what I remember as an adult.
It's just what you harbored and focused on, and you forgot.
And that led to a life of leading with anger instead of leading with love and all those other things we've talked about. And so I know I'm sort of rambling here about it, but it's really exciting for me. Mm-hmm. It's something that I set out to do. Just like if somebody was to lose their body weight, they really like this amazing thing that happens. I set out, a year ago to get off the medications, and I wanted like nothing more, Jeff, than to just empty the bottles and just be done.
But that's not the right way to do it.
But like I said,
more harm than good.
Too many people go and, take a long walk off a short pier. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's not where I want to be. So anyway, I'll stop with my rant, but I will leave you with this, regarding my recovery, which I'm still a part of, which I still struggle. There's no doubt in my mind that I still will have a form of my mental illness, and it may regress. I may get worse.
But hopefully not, but we don't know.
Right, exactly. But at least now I'm taking steps towards my own direction. I'm doing things the way that I want to do them, not the way that I was just doing them, which was probably the way that other people wanted me to do things.
Yeah.
You know, to benefit them or to just to flow nicely with the system. So like I said, it takes a team. It really does. It takes a team of people that truly have your back, even if it's a small team. People that you can confide in, people that will, you know, come to your house and sit on your back porch and have coffee with you because, well, for no other reason than you asked and they know that you probably used the help, you know. Whether you're recovering from, you know, you're addicted to food or you're codependent or trauma, abuse, PTSD, whatever, you know, pick one. Good God, we've got so many things that we can deal with on a daily basis.
Sadly, the list can go on and on with the things that we're faced with day to day and new things that we may not know about and suffer from that others suffer from, you know?
Yeah.
No different than things individuals suffer from now. We go back 50 years, they didn't exist. They were not known.
Yeah.
Thankfully, more time and energy is put into research of mental illnesses and other things. There's degrees and doctors and scientists, and hopefully in time it will be a thing of the past, not because they found some pill, but we found something within us and natural ways of treating and healing this recovery process. You know, maybe it's a 12, 25-step process that we can begin to heal some of these mental issues or, you know, so-called illnesses that we suffer from in our day-to-day lives and not be trapped and addicted to a substance or a pill. You know, thankfully in your case, it helped you.
Yeah, definitely.
But we can find some manner to get back to, you know, full recovery to be these perfect humans on this planet.
Well, I think
that's possible.
I think that, you know, notwithstanding, we obviously have chemicals and other things that are part of our food, our water, or whatever it is, you know, the shampoos, soaps, whatever. You could go down the line, but basically we have everything in us that we need to be a better person, to be good, to be what we want to be. We have it all. We have all the tools at our resources. It's all right up in here. You got to find a way to get all that habits, those thoughts that were just nothing but habits.
Clutter the toolbox.
You got to clear it out a bit. And it ain't going to be fun, right? It's going to stink. It ain't going to be nice.
That's the worst aspect of recovery or potentially something in life is dealing with your own shit that you know you need to do.
Yeah.
Others see that you need to deal with it and do it, but yet you don't do it yourself.
Yeah. It's, And then, you know, what'll happen, I think, is you tend to get angry that you're not doing it. And then when you notice somebody else doing it, it makes you that much angrier. It
brings on that little jealousy aspect of why are they doing it and why am I not? Or
why aren't they? Yeah. And, you know, I know they shouldn't do this, or why are they? Whatever it is, you know better. But that goes back to that being honest thing.
Yeah.
And that takes me back to even that book, The Four Agreements. Your words got to be gospel. Your words got to be, it's got to form the strongest bond that you can think of. It's got to be real. When you say something, that's got to be how it is. So that when you talk to yourself, you're being real.
Yeah.
You're not bullshitting yourself. You say something and it might as well just be, I'll think about it again tomorrow.
I think that's a good thing to do with yourself is have an honest conversation, whether you look yourself in the mirror during meditation. And in the type of meditation, typically, you know, you're trying to clear your head of thought and focus and relax, but have a deep conversation with yourself on sitting there and what do we need to improve upon ourselves?
Yeah.
What are things that we can do to better ourselves, which will then in turn better those around us? But that's a simple way, you know, I need to do that myself more, but have those heart-to-heart talks with yourself of what am I doing that I need to do better?
Yeah.
What have I failed or lacked or put off for too long that needs to be changed?
Yeah. Yeah. What have I been fooling myself about?
Yep.
Really. I mean, that's what it comes down to. What have I been fibbing to myself about? You know, I say I want to get better or I say I am better. Am I really? You know, am I really doing better with money? Am I really doing better with my temper? Am I really doing better out in traffic? Am I doing better at church? You know, whatever it is. Are you paying attention in school or whatever it might be? Yeah, stop bullshitting yourself. I mean, it is what it is. We all do it. And, you know, there's going to be a day when you look at somebody else and you say, oh shit, I remember whenever I used to act like that.
Yeah.
You know, and that's not passing judgment. I don't think that's just taking notice that you've come a long way.
Yeah.
You know, like that old bumper sticker, you come a long way, baby. So, you know,
Keep on keeping on.
You keep on keeping on. We'll keep on going. Yeah. I think as we start to close this episode out, you know, I just like to remind people that compassion and gratitude can change your life. When you understand that Jeff, you're me and I'm you, and we share experiences and we change each other's experience, then you start to realize that it's difficult to be angry at somebody. It's difficult to hold a grudge. It's difficult to blame somebody because you've done it yourself.
Yeah,
we've all been there. We've all been there. And then not only is there that aspect, but then there's the love that you feel for someone that you really. It's hard because that word love is, it's you can use it. It's like dropping the F-bomb. I love somebody so much that I can feel that love as an energy. I can feel that, you know, not to be hokey or like woo woo.
Yeah,
but it's this bond, it's this vibe, it's this energy that you can share with one another. If you don't have compassion and you don't have gratitude, you're not thankful for other people, you're not thankful for other things, you're never going to get that real happiness that you read about, and maybe you make fun of it, and maybe, oh, I'm great, give me another beer, I'm great, you know, where's my remote, I'm great, you know, I'm going to bed early because I worked hard, whatever it is, whatever your outlet is, whatever you do, there's so much more out there once you get that headspace free and clear.
Yeah.
You know,
there's plenty of room to bring in new things, get rid of old. You know, it's just like decluttering your closet as you age and grow.
Yeah.
You get rid of the old things that just don't fit, don't need, don't wear.
Yeah.
We need to do the same things in our heads and go through those things. It's a more timely, lengthy, and very difficult process to sit there and really harbor in on our own selves that, okay, I do this good. I do not do this good. I need to change this about myself, this about myself, this about myself type thing. You know?
Yeah, totally, man. Yeah. Having said that, I'll just say just one last thing. You know, we all read a lot of headlines. We all read a lot of news. You know, we're constantly reading headlines and taking these little snippets. I think it's time that more people start making their own headlines.
Oh, I like that.
I really do, man. I really think it's time to hear about people you never heard of for good reasons.
Yeah.
There's
do some digging and try and find some people who are doing
billions of us on this earth, you know, millions in this country alone. We need to start hearing about and from more people with good voices. I'm so tired of hearing from I'm just going to put in air quotes here for people listening, news. I'm tired of listening and reading news. It's not news anymore. It's fucking entertainment.
Yeah, it is.
You know, and it gets in the way of my own recovery. So I have a hard time being educated about my current events or my current situation, my current place in this world, because I got these fucking idiots pushing out entertainment instead of news. It blocks everything up. It makes it all muddy again, you know?
Don't watch the news for a week. You know, I watch a lot at work. I'll put it on, but lately I've changed it. But
yeah,
try and do that. Don't watch it for a week or two. Don't, you know, obviously in social media you'll catch some things, but don't go searching to a news site. Don't click on those news things as they pop up. Try to avoid it at all costs and see the difference you can bring.
Yeah. And once you find the side you think you're on, go learn everything you can about the other side.
It's good.
You'll quickly realize that there's really no side. You're all the same. We're all the same.
Very well put.
Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. Until next time, love you.
Thank you guys, as always.
Yeah, peace.